Hey everyone, welcome along to the channel. We are on another adventure today. I went in to go and get my bike checked, to go and check on my bike to see how far away it was from being done, and the people there said to me, oh, it should be done this weekend, which is great because I've been waiting about a month to get that bike fixed. So while I was there, I went and had a bit of a peruse through the new stock that they've got there, and they have a 2021 KTM Duke. No, we'll try that again. 2021 KTM 390 Adventure. Now, if you know anything about New Zealand, you'll realise that here in New Zealand we have to have LAMS approved bikes or A2 compliant bikes for our first 18, wow, it's actually closer to about 2 years of riding. And as a result of that, that means that any bike that I try has to be of around about 47 horsepower. And so the 390 Adventure, because I like my adventure bikes, seems like it could be a good option. I'm looking for a new bike. If you haven't seen my other video on the Royal Enfield Himalayan, I'm going to try and leave it in the comments below, or at least in the in my comment section down below. Leave the link there. So what we're going to do is we're actually looking for a bike for me. I am really excited to give this bike a go. I didn't realise that they were as affordable as they are, with on-road costs, etc. I think you're actually only looking at around about 9,000, which only puts it about 1,500 bucks more than the Himalayan, but it comes in at 42 horsepower versus 24 and a half, with roughly the same amount of torque, but it doesn't produce it in the same band. So it does it between sort of 4,000 and 6,000 RPM, which is about the same as my V-Strom. So it'll be an interesting ride today to be able to see how it goes. I'm going to switch the camera off now. We're going to go in, we're going to take a look at the bike. I'll show you whereabouts I'm getting it from. Boyd Motorcycles, Boyd's in Hamilton, have been very kind to let me try out the demonstrator model. It does have a couple of modifications on it. I had a look at it yesterday, and we'll see if, from a learner's perspective, if the bike has the cons that the experienced riders say that it's got. And also we'll have a look to see that it's capable of doing everything that I want it to do as far as dirt roads, twisty roads, being able to overtake on a roll-on overtake rather than having to gear down, and just see if it's capable of doing everything that I want it to do, and to see how the ergonomics work and see how cool it is. But at any rate, I'll get there. I'll give you a rundown on exactly what the specifications are before we go for a ride. Then we'll go for about it's around about 45 minutes to an hour's ride, so it will be an extensive review. I don't shortcut them because I don't want you guys thinking, oh well, you know, he's getting paid by these guys to do this, and he's just going to say whatever he wants to be able to make this bike sell. These guys have said to me, look, the only way that you can do it is to be honest. I've said to them, the only way I will do it is to be honest. So without further ado, let me get there and then we'll show you the bike. Well guys, this is Boyd's Motorcycles. So we're just heading in now to be able to go and grab the bike, and then we'll be heading off into the Never Never Lands. Anyway, we'll show you a quick view through the shop. If you ever need anything to do with motorcycles, you know where to come. These guys are awesome. Let's have a quick look through the shop. Okay guys, this is my steed for the day. KTM 390 Adventure. This is the demo model. It's a little bit to demo on this one. Subject to opinion, but I quite like the little wasp front headlight. I think it's kind of cool. So we're going to run through some stats. I'm going to be real boring about things. Let's get to the stuff that really matters at the moment, and that's weight and horsepower. So horsepower on the bike is 43.5. You're looking at a tank capacity of 14.5 litres. What else we got here? Fuel systems are Bosch EFI, 6-speed transmission, 4-stroke 89 to 60, displacement 373.2 cc, front disc brakes are 320 millimeter and 230 front, 230 on the rear. Rear wheel is a 17, front wheel is a 19, and wheelbase is 1430. It says plus or minus 15 millimeters, so we'll let them off on that one. Ground clearance is 200 mil, so it's not quite as good as the Himalayan, but it's still better than my V-Strom at the moment. Now the dry weight on this is 158 kg, so with 14.5 litres of fuel in it, we'll call it around about 170 kilos wet with fuel and oil in it. So pretty light wee bike really. So we're going to do the same run as we did the last time. If you haven't had a look at it, like I say, I'll leave the link down below, but we're going to do the same run. I'm really sorry that it's raining today. I'll try and remember to make sure that the screen is constantly wiped so you can actually see what I'm doing. We've also changed the camera position a little bit, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing a little bit better this time as well. But let me get geared up and we'll get on the bike, and yeah, we'll head off. Probably worth mentioning, this is a liquid cooled bike as well. It also has traction control and ABS, and it's cornering ABS and traction control, so it's actually monitoring how you go around corners, etc., and making sure that you're always at your optimum point. So I don't know if that's good for a beginner or not, whether you're supposed to just learn it or whether you just go with the safety side of things. I think is really subjective, and I think that's kind of up to you. For me personally, I like the idea that the bike's going to catch me if I make a mistake. At any rate, let's get on the road. Okay everybody, here we go. See you later, mate. Oh yeah, this is immediately a very different feel to what I'm used to. Yeah. And it's another lovely drizzly day. Welcome to winter in New Zealand, people. Okay, I can tell you that the this seems to be more geared up to stand on. Okay, like second gear along here at 20 or 30 k an hour. So we've got a fuel range of 310 k's by the look of that. Should be enough to do what we've got to do with it today. Okay, let's have a look at these mirrors. These are not the standard mirrors, people. They have been swapped out. There's a couple of things that have been changed out. There's a different seat on here to what you'll get as a standard. Okay, immediately I'm finding it very interesting to ride. It's got an interesting whirring noise to it. You guys are going to get very, very wet. I apologise for that. I can't see anything out of these wing mirrors. It's terrible. Okay. These are aftermarket, like I say, guys. I think you would probably want something that's a little bit higher than these. This is actually my first time riding on a bike with full knobblies on it. Again, bike doesn't come with full knobblies. The demonstrator was used in a rally, some description. Oh, that'll be what the whirring noise is. It's the knobblies, Shane. By golly, you can tell I'm an amateur. So 48 k an hour here. It's not enjoying fifth gear, so you kind of want to be in third. It's an interesting scenario for me because the Strom just chugs along in sixth gear at 30, 40, 50 k an hour. Yeah, immediately very noisy on the knobblies. Not like a bad noisy. Kind of sounds like an electric vehicle. All right. The pegs are extremely grippy. They keep gripping my boots because I've got the teeth on them. They keep gripping my boots and preventing me from hitting that gear lever the way I want to. It's interesting because you really feel like you're sitting on top of the bike. So like I say, this is 43.5 horsepower. Versus 47 for the V-Strom and 24.5 for the Himalayan. Excuse me clearing my throat, I've had a cold all week. I couldn't resist being able to take this out for a ride. Boyds have been pretty good to me. Done me the odd little discount here and there on the Strom because they're the Suzuki dealers in town here. This has got an aftermarket seat which makes it a little bit tall, so I'm really on my tiptoes, but the bike doesn't feel heavy. It feels really light. It feels really nice. I guess I'm really used to having very heavy bikes. Come on, people. Now it says I've got high beam on here. Not quite sure how to switch that off. Oh, there we go. Switch the high beam off. It's just a little switch on the front here if anyone's looking for the switch block where the high beam, low beam, etc. is going to be. Oh, look at that, how nice is that, just letting people through. That's a rare thing these days, by golly. Alright. I don't know why it is that every time I go to talk to you guys it's a miserable day. One of the things I can say I immediately don't like is that the indicator light on the dash is just a single light. It doesn't tell you whether you're going left or right, it just tells you that your indicator's on. Okay. I'm so sorry about this weather, guys. It seems to actually be getting worse, not better, and it's not even supposed to rain today. A little bit nervous of riding on knobbies. They are apparently a little bit, I'm not noticing much of a difference at the moment, but they're apparently a bit more slippy. Quite a bit of vibration if you're in the wrong gear when you're going around a corner. It's just one that I usually do a bit of a test on to see what happens if you've got the wrong gear selection. Oh, I've hit that high beam again. See how many times I do that? That's 2. What am I feeling on the bike? Okay, the handlebars are a little bit buzzy. 5th gear at 60k an hour. We're doing about 3,700 RPM. Brakes are extremely good. I like it a lot. If you're wondering what that little cable is that's leading from the handlebars, that's to my airbag vest. I bought it off AliExpress. You can use them multiple times, and they're only 143 bucks New Zealand, which is around about $90 US. So if you can't afford these $600 or $700 ones, this is still going to be better than nothing. And having been hit by a car, I think that it's pretty valuable to have. It really does feel like you're riding a dirt bike through town, which isn't a bad thing, it's just a thing. That clutch is beautiful. It is amazing. It is so light. You could sit in traffic all day with that clutch, no problems at all. I know you guys are going to be getting a little bit of road noise from this one. I've just changed the placement of the camera, which unfortunately has meant that I can't close my visor as much as I normally would. So hopefully it's not too bad for you. Oh, you gotta love traffic. Oh, love these people. Just got to get that one car ahead. Get that one car ahead. That's going to make my day better. So squeeze out everybody just to be able to get that one spot ahead. I can see out of this mirror okay, I just can't see out of that mirror very well unless I turn my head. Down to first to get through this stuff. So one of the reasons that I choose this road is actually because there is a quicker way to be able to get out there and I avoid all of this traffic. But one of the reasons that I actually go this way in the first place is simply because of the fact that I want to see what this bike's like if you're commuting. You know, I'm doing 33 kilometers an hour at the moment in third gear. Looks pretty good to me. You guys probably can't see it, but now you can see it. Hey, how's that? This is the first time I've ridden with my new motorcycle gear in the rain, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes out as well. These roadworks have been going on for as long as I've lived in Hamilton. Nearly 2 years now, I think, at least. I don't even know what they were doing. Just dug up a whole bunch of stuff and then buried a whole bunch of stuff. Give you another wipe before I come to a stop. This is one of the things that I've learned, is always make sure you've got plenty of space in front of you guys. It only takes a moment's lapse in concentration and you are up the back end of a car. So you always give yourself plenty of space. Man, that clutch, it almost doesn't exist. It's beautiful. I hear you can get a quick shifter for this as well, up and down, so it's a two-way, I think they call it. I'm not willing to try it because it's not my bike to see whether it's actually got one or not, but there's virtually no weight on that clutch at all. Like, you could hold that in all day, no problems. Well, we're doing 7, 8, 9 kilometers an hour now, first gear. So far commuting. It took me a couple of minutes, but I'm now used to the bike and just doing my thing. If I had to say one thing, it's got bar risers on it, but the guy that that was using this, he's a bit shorter than I am. So I'd probably go for higher risers again, just to make things a little bit more comfortable for me, but it's not bad. And hey, I wanted to take out the new Suzuki V-Strom and just take it for a test ride and see if I'm completely off them or not. And Suzuki doesn't even have a test ride model available. KTM, ta-da! Just like, yeah, take it out for a ride, bro, no worries. So far, handling traffic really well. Doesn't really like 6th gear around town too much, so I'd say that's more of the overdrive sort of a gear. Just chugs a little bit at 50-60k an hour, 30-35 mile an hour for those of you out there who still speak old man. Alright, but I'm fairly well at home on this now. It doesn't take long to get acclimated to it. Can already tell that that back brake is better than the Himalayan as far as you just have to rest your foot on it and you've got grip. yeah, like it's not anywhere near as as downward pressing, so I don't. Come on, buddy. All right. I can't tell whether it's still raining or not because my visor is completely covered. But I feel like it's stopped. So far, even on the knobblies, not really feeling any difference between these and my Shinko 705s on the V-Strom. On the road, and it's drizzly and wet, so you know, I was expecting them to be slippery as, but I'm not really noticing a lot of difference. One thing that I will say that you're getting in this is quite a buzzy feeling, just through your feet and hands. It's not bad yet, like I don't really notice it, it's not that big of an issue yet, but I don't know how it's going to be after an hour's ride. We'll see how we go. Just trying to find that friction point on the clutch. Oh, Harley owner, it's not going to wave at me. I honestly don't know why they don't do that. We're all out here enjoying the same thing. But anyway, so we're about to hit the 80 zone. Hopefully 6th gear will be useful at that point. This is a completely different feel to what I'm used to. I'm used to sort of sitting more in the bike, and this one you sort of sit on top of it. It's not a bad feeling. Just takes a little bit of getting used to. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit better this time round. So if you haven't followed my channel before, I'm a 40 plus year old man. I'm actually 42 now. I'm new to motorcycling. I've still got 11 months to go before I can get my full license. I'd wanted a motorcycle my whole life and just couldn't afford to make it happen with family obligations, etc. So now that I'm a bit older, oh yeah, when you crank that out, when you crank out those revs, you really get buzzing through that through the foot pegs. I'm in 6th gear now. I know that 100's not really 100, no bike is that precise. But for argument's sake, we're doing about 5,500 RPM. maybe 5,600 RPM to get to 100k an hour. So maybe 5.7, 5.8 to be able to get to the speed limit, and it redlines at 10, so plenty of oomph there still to go. I'd really like to have tried this with the rubber inserts in the foot pegs, because there's quite a lot of vibration going through those foot pegs at the moment. Doesn't feel as gentlemanly as the Himalayan. It feels like it's got a bit of pep and a bit of get up and go, and it wants to go and do a thing, and I think probably it's aimed at a younger audience of people that want to sort of get up and do a thing. I've got good clean air coming at me at the moment, but one of the things I love about my V-Strom is you just don't really feel any air on you unless it's coming from the sides. This bike, I'm feeling it pushing on me on my upper chest, shoulders. But it's clean air, like I'm not getting buffeted, it's just a push. Not willing to push it around the corners with knobblies on, although, you know, it feels stable as, probably as you get used to it, you'll push it a bit more. It really does feel very stable. So the speedo on these are usually around about 8 to 10 kilometers an hour out. So I'd say you're going to be up around about 6,000 RPM at the speed limit of 100 kilometers an hour, which is about 57 mile an hour, something like that. Probably work that out at some stage, but we work in the metric world here, people. Just button off a little bit coming through these intersections in the rain. People can't see me. Just clearing my helmet a little bit, let you guys off as well while I think about it. And we turn off here. Engine braking is not as abrupt as some bikes. It's pretty flicky. It does. I have to say it's more flicky than a V-Strom. It's less flicky, I think, than the Himalayan or Himalayan. Definitely feels like it wants to stay upright a little bit more. And off we go. And I think I've done it again. I've gone up the wrong road. Oh well, at least it's exactly the same as the Himalayan. We won't go quite as far this time though. We'll go up to the end and turn around and come back again. Shit. Okay, didn't like that. I was in second gear trying to get around that corner. Okay. Excuse the language. We'll get going again. So I would say that these guys compete with one another. It depends on how much tech you want. I think the Himalayan and this bike, both being made in India, oh, that's not going to work, are going to compete with one another, and it depends on how much tech you want and how much power you want. I feel like this one would do a wheelie if I pushed my luck a bit on it. I really do. Definitely don't get that feeling from the Himalayan. I have to wonder if I'm going the right way. I don't directly remember. I think I remember that hill though. Alright, let's go there. I think we go down next to where this house is up here. On that hill. We shall see. This does actually have some sort of a navigation system in it. Fangled stuff. For the purposes of a test ride, I don't really see the need for it. It's got a mount here for a GPS, and I generally just mount my phone to the handlebars. I will say it's probably a little bit short of space around there. This doesn't feel like the right road either. Ooh. One of the things I will say is if you're not in the right gear, it's going to tell you. Oh yep, this is the right road. We're all good, we're all good. Not 100% lost. You guys will just have to remind me the next time that that's the turn off there. Just enough drizzle to be annoying. I feel like this bike, oh okay, cranking it out now in 5th gear, and it still takes a wee while to get up there. It is only 373cc, so you know, kind of cheating a little bit by calling it a 390. It's not bad though. I think if you chopped it down to 4th, you'd be alright passing. I don't know how it's going to go on the roll-on in 6th gear. We'll go ahead and do that. Tell you what, that vibration on the foot pegs is significant. It's a little bit buzzy through the handlebars, but not bad, and you can go and get some things to slip over to actually help that. But yeah, the foot pegs are very, very buzzy, bearing in mind that it's just the bare aluminium, so it's supposed to be, I'd stop here, which we're going to do. We'll take the ABS and traction control off. Actually, you know what, we're not. We're going to see how it goes without taking the ABS and traction control off and see how it likes this stuff. So we're going to stand up. Now, when I watched the Fort 9 video and test ride review of this bike, they said that there was nowhere to grip the tank and that the pegs were too forward facing. Pegs are forward facing, but I'm sort of sitting on my arches right now, which is sitting on the edge of the pegs, and it's probably the grippiest I've ever felt there, and my knees are resting nicely against the tank. So I was a little bit worried about that coming up through here, but I'm not worried about it anymore. Man, it's got some berries getting up through this section, but it still feels really completely controllable. As opposed to my V-Strom, which has got some berries getting up through here, but it just doesn't feel as comfortable to ride through here on that bike because of the weight, I think, more than anything else. Just be careful on these blind corners, because occasionally you get a car coming around here at a huge rate of knots. I feel like the gears are a little bit short. I feel like I want to reach for 3rd, but I know that if I go into 3rd, it's going to chug and not want to do its job. So sort of got to keep it in the rev range. But boy, she's got some pull up through here. Quite It just feels like it wants to go. Okay, that was a bit of a wait. Oh, I'm in first gear. Don't want to do that because I still need to connect myself. That's trying to find neutral. Yeah, good on you. Hang on, let's switch off the bike for a second. Got to connect myself back up again. Alright, try again. Okay. Alright, it has stopped raining, so that's a cool thing. Alright, I'll just... Okay, nice guy that one.
What's your name?
Shane. Shane.
What's your name?
Shane.
Shane.
Yeah. S-H-A-N-E. Yeah. It's Irish for Johannanen.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, we'll see you later. See you, mate. Okay, so we're back on the road again. We just have to be very, very careful because there's been a big washout on the road. So this has actually taken a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. Alright, so it must be around that corner. Anyway, get her done. Okay, just coming down this hill, I'm not finding... Oh yeah, okay, so there's the ABS just not wanting to do much of a thing. But it's not like super intrusive, guys, like it's not getting me into trouble here or anything. So I was actually stopped for about half an hour there. So I'll see what the go is up the road here. Strange place to have somebody stopping traffic. There was nobody came by the whole time I was there. But I guess when you need somebody to be stopped, they need somebody to be stopped. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's a something. 30 kilometers an hour ahead. Well, that was about what I was doing anyway. Oh, here they are. Please stop on request. Hopefully you guys can see a bit more today. It's a really beautiful little spot through here. Cheers, guys. Good. Ah, I could have jumped that. Alright, so let's get down past these fellas. I don't know if I could have jumped that, to be fair. I'm not that good. I'm very much an amateur. It's a nice little tree-filled gully through there. Which way you going? Where you going, Shane? I still find these back brakes really hard to find, whereas on the V-Strom it's a nice easy find. It just hurts my knee a little bit still. For those of you that are watching for the first time, I had a motorcycle accident. I got T-boned by a car, and I've had to have surgery, etc. So I'm still quite pitched over on this bike. I'm a 5'11" and a half. The half's important. So around 6 foot. And I'm finding this bike probably just a little bit short for me still, but hey, it's actually not too bad. With some bar risers on it, I think it'll be a lot better. Same with the Enfield. I found that bar risers would have been very handy. Alright. So like I say, I mean, it's doing 4,000 RPM. It feels like it wants to go into third, but I know as soon as I go into third it's just going to chug a bit, so just leave it there. But it trundles along in here quite nicely. It's just that back brake, I've really got to shift my foot forward to be able to get the back brake to engage, but to be honest with you, it's really not intrusive as far as the ABS and all that kind of thing goes. When you're riding a bike the way that I'm doing it now, like I'm going along these roads at 30-40 k an hour roughly, and it's fine. So we've got a bit of thick loose gravel coming up here. Just handles it nicely. It's like it's not even doing a thing. So third here. I got quite big feet too, like I'm a size 12 US, so I find getting my foot underneath that gear lever when I'm standing quite difficult. I do on most bikes though, to be fair. Okay. We're just about out of here now. I do like these knobblies actually, they're really good off-road. Just get over these ruts. Really nice. Get back onto seal. All right. Okay, fifth gear around that corner was maybe a little advantageous. But it did it. It's okay, guys, like it's got a little bit of personality to it, a little chug single pot. Oh, we got chickens. It's got a little bit of personality to it. Tips into the corners relatively well. Takes a while to get up to speed, but you know, it's only 373cc. I think, again, really unintimidating bike. It's predictable, does what you ask it to, a little bit more pep than the Enfield on the road, but nothing scary. If I was a first time rider, I would feel safe on this bike. I'd probably feel a bit safer because it does have the traction control and everything else on it. It's like, yep, I'm home now, you can open me up. Hopefully you guys can see something at the moment. Even going over that loose gravel in the middle is actually really nice and easy, but I think that's tyres more than anything. I tell you who I'd like to see on one of these, and that's Nora Lee from Mitchy Boots. I reckon she'd love this thing. It's light, it's nimble, a bit more horsepower than the Himalayan, capable of doing similar stuff to the CRF with what she's wanting here. But you can see here, like, just completely under control. I can move it around. Even with my sore knee, I'm not finding that too much of an issue. Rear brake is there. You do have to pitch it quite a bit, to pitch the foot quite a bit to get it to really engage. But traction control is not interfering at all. But bearing in mind I'm a complete amateur here, but I'm doing 40 odd k an hour uphill on a gravel road. And it's not struggling, it's quite happy. Ah, they've asked me to stop. This has got to be the most boring job on the planet, the one vehicle. I was going to stop here anyway. G'day, mate.
Actually, the road, one big hole over there, so lots of machines and working over there, so you cannot go there.
Okay, so we're completely cut off here, are we?
Pardon?
Sorry, hang on. We're completely cut off here, are we?
Yeah, that's
Can't get through.
yeah, that's all the road. They are working over there.
Okay, so it's washed away, has it, or?
Yeah, you can go return back.
Yeah. I'm doing a test ride on this bike. That's why I'm coming through the dirt area.
Okay. Can I talk the supervisor?
If you don't mind, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I only need this much room to get past.
Okay.
So I was going to stop here anyway, guys, because it's a beautiful view. But we may not be able to go any further. I can smell the heat off this. The engine temp says that it's okay though. So what we're going to do now, as I do with all of my bikes, is hit some twisties, see how it goes. Fuel economy on this is great. It hasn't actually moved this whole trip. As soon as I hit that throttle though, the vibration comes straight through those foot pegs. That's probably my biggest gripe with the bike at the moment. Could I deal with that if I was riding for a couple of days? Couple of 2 or 3 days, probably a couple of days, no problems. If I was doing a couple of overnighters somewhere or something along those lines, but if I was going to be on the road for weeks on this, would I want to have that vibration coming through? Well, I have to say not. However, there are things to fix it, like these are supposed to have rubber foot mounts, which will reduce that vibration significantly. But everyone complains about the buzzing through the handlebars. I don't think it's any worse than any other bike I've ever ridden. Well, it's come out finer. You guys can actually see today. How's that? Tips into the corners really nicely. I do start to feel the knobbies a little bit. Just have to take my time a little bit. Oh, all roadworks. Fantastic. More time to enjoy this beautiful scenery. Fortunately, we have a green light on this one. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the view. I have to say I'm actually finding it really good through the twisties. Tips in really easy. Probably the easiest bike I've ever counter steered before. Just goes so easy. Only thing I'm really not enjoying is just that vibration's so bad, it's just about bouncing my feet off the pegs if I'm in the wrong gear. Now I normally do this hill in third gear with the Strom and third gear with the Himalayan. However, with this bike I'm finding third gear as well. But I have to say, it does handle a wee bit better than the other guys. Even on knobbies, which is, you know, whoa, that's pretty cool. I can feel it just sort of being a bit squishy in the corners, that's all. But it's gripping really well. I think because this was the owner's bike when he did a rally, he's probably put a really nice set of rubber on it. Won't be a set of rubber that probably lasts very long, but by golly, it's grippy. It's so good on the corners, guys. Like, it is seriously good on the corners. I've not ridden a bike that corners like this. This is awesome. I've never ever ridden a bike that feels that good on the corners. As soon as you crank that throttle, if the revs are just a little bit lower than where it likes, it just chugs back down into, probably down into fourth for this. Really confidence inspiring on the corners. Don't feel anything being invasive. I think when you get a lot of these guys that have been riding for years and years and years, and they're saying, oh, you know, that traction control or that ABS is really invasive and it's horrible to use, and you know, got to switch it off and all that sort of thing. They're doing stuff that's a lot more extreme than what somebody like myself would be doing. This is absolutely fine for what I'm wanting to do. I've got absolutely no issues with this doing everything that I want it to do. The only bugbear that I'm having with this bike really is that vibration. It's that big 373cc thumper pumping up and down in there. I said there's a counterbalancer in there, but so I'd hate to see what it was like without the counterbalancer. Is it something I could live with on a day-to-day basis? Probably, if I wasn't riding it on long trips. If I wasn't riding it on long trips, I think this will be alright. It's a bit of fun. Doesn't have a lot of power there on the roll-on, like I can max out the throttle. It's a much shorter throttle on this than on the Himalayan. But just as smooth, just as nice to ride. just got a bit more poke to it. Like I say, I'm just being a little bit careful on the knobbies, but by golly, it just... it's pretty good. So I'm just doing a roll on here. That'll do it, but I think you really need to go down a gear. At least, maybe 2. But hey look, you've got a 6th on this, which you don't have on a Himalayan. So you've got just a cruising gear. And if you need to bang it down to 4th, then you need to bang it down to 4th pass. I just wanted to do a roll on and just see how I went with a roll on, because I do that with all the bikes. Just a real time, see how we get on. And that person was kind enough to move over to the side, over to the shoulder, so that I was able to get past him, so that helped me. There we go, and getting up this hill. I'm at maximum throttle here, keeping up with the traffic, slowly going far, you know, slowly getting faster than the traffic, but it's definitely, that 6th gear is definitely not a pulling gear, it's more of an overdrive sort of a system. The suspension's good, soaks up the bumps. Engine's relatively torquey, as long as you keep it in the right gear, and that is just a case of adjusting your riding style. And what else? 6 gears, switchable ABS, switchable traction control. Going through your menus, so just doing a little bit of a cycle through while we're trundling through this traffic, doing 10 or 12 kilometers an hour below the speed limit. So this is really interesting. So I can won't let me do it. Hope you guys could see how much that was all shaking when I tried to put the throttle back on again in 6th gear at 80 kilometers an hour. It really is just there as an overdrive, really. But you know, 5.5 seconds to 100 on this one. The V-Strom, which is a 650cc, so you know, 300cc bigger than this, really, just shy of 300cc bigger than this, is 3.8 seconds. So in a previous video I talked about the fact that slow for a motorcycle is still pretty quick for a car. The only cars that I can think of off the top of my head that are doing 5.1 seconds to 100 are things like the Lotus Exige. You know, so all of a sudden you're into supercar territory, you know, Porsches, that kind of thing, on a bike that costs, say fully kitted out, 11,000 bucks. Or about $9,000 on the road for this sucker. I mean, how can you whinge with that? That's a great little bike, and you honestly, like I say, you got to bang it down a couple of gears to be able to get it to go and do anything. Let's have a look here. There's a double overtake, 3rd gear, but I had to bang it down. Oh, it might have been 4th actually. I think it was 4th. Okay, sit back in that for a bit. So really good example there of what it's capable of. But you do have to bang it down a couple of gears to be able to get it to do what you want it to do. And if I'm honest with you, to be able to do that, I was ringing its tits at, in that 4th gear. But it will pass. And it's got the torque that it'll pass up a hill too. So, for a beginner who's wanting to get into adventure bikes, who wants it in a around town commuter that can do sort of a bit of everything, this bike, premium, man. It's really good, really good. The only thing, like I say, is like every time I do that, the foot, funnily enough, the right hand foot peg seems to vibrate more than the left hand foot peg. Don't ask me why, but it does vibrate more. Throttle's nice and smooth too, you know, like when I took out a CB500X for a test ride before I started doing all this stuff again with YouTube, the problem that I had with that bike was it was really notchy, so the throttle was either on or off really at around town speeds. With this one here, it's beautiful and fluid. It's just a nice smooth roll on and roll off. It feels like a really well put together bike. This is the demonstrator model. It's done over 5,000 Ks. It has been put through its paces. The chain on this thing doesn't look like it's ever been loved. It's still doing a thing. 6 or 7 months into the year. And it's happy noodling around town in 5th gear at 60k an hour. So, in short, what do I think of this bike? Fuel economy has been fantastic. The instruments, fantastic, simple, nice, easy to use. You know, you can take the traction control off, put the traction control on, and vice versa for your ABS. That's something which is a pretty premium feature for not a lot of money on this bike. The gear changes are beautifully smooth, the clutch is beautiful, the throttle's really good. Things I don't like about it, some people don't like the look of these, but I actually kind of like the look of it. Things I don't like about it, well, there's really only one thing, and that is it really seriously vibrates when you're giving it berries. Just hang about, buddy. Thank you. So it really seriously vibrates when you're giving it gas. I don't think you'll feel it so much if you put the foot pegs on. But you bang a seat of heated grips on this, you know, it's good to go. It's good to go. Now the standard model of this doesn't have, this has got a bash plate, it's got crash bars, and it's got these aluminium handguards on it, bark busters. I don't know if they're bark busters or what they are, but so it's got all of that kind of stuff on it, but it doesn't come standard with that. Normally they're plastic bash plate, and it doesn't come with the crash bars on it, so you do have to buy those all as extras. It also doesn't come with pannier racks, so you're going to buy all that as extras, but you're still looking at a bike that's sort of $10,500 to $11,000 that's going to go off-road all day long, and going to give you a heck of a lot of joy. Hey look, that's pretty much the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Keep the rubber side down, and God bless. Oh, one more thing. Thank you so much to Boyd's Motorcycles for allowing me to take this out for a ride. Anyway, catch you guys later.